I dreamed I saw Phil Ochs last night, alive as you and me. Says I to Phil, you're 10 years dead. I never died, says he. I never died, says he.
It's been 49 years now since Phil Ochs left, but when we're lucky, we still see him in our dreams. The black woman who part-raised me once told me, only half joking, that the last time she could say for certain that God had spoken through a white man was in the person of John Brown. And seek, by the way, the opinion of ChatGPT or your other digital prophets on that question to understand why you still need people like me, because even then, I knew she was wrong. There was, after all, Phil Ochs, and we've been listening to Billy Bragg's tribute to him, reworking an old labor song. Phil Ochs is the greatest protest singer you've never heard of unless covered by another artist like Joan Baez, who sings his song in the latest Dylan biopic. To cross cultural metaphors, I've always thought of him in terms of Lu Xun's iron box. The 20th century Chinese writer imagined a hermetically sealed prison with sleepers inside. Do you wake them up if there is no hope of rescue? Lu Xun's metaphor was for modern China, but of course America was the prison that Phil Ochs awoke inside. He was a typical American boy from a typical American town, like me, or maybe you. But awaking finally from the American dream, he spent what was left of his life trying to sing other people into consciousness. In the hermetically sealed box, it was a precious use of breath and voice, and maybe it hastened his passing. The 500-page FBI file would be biography enough, but you can also come to know him through his songs, which I hope you go and listen to. Be careful of the greatest hits. He named his final original album that way as his career was falling apart, a kind of self-deprecating joke that still tricks streaming services and Apple today that often misclassify it. It's original and a stylistic departure rather than a compilation. It's perfect, though, that even today and in hindsight, the industry still doesn't get him. Speaking personally, it's not just that I love his songs. Phil Ochs is also the reason I have a depth of empathy and patience for Westerners with an uncritical understanding of Mao. Phil Ochs did, too, and so I see some of him in them and make time and space for it. I'd like to think that we could have crossed paths if the bardo is as real as the Tibetans say, and he lingered for a time after leaving the house of life, and I tarried too before entering it. By the end, he was mentally ill, sometimes homeless, rejected by his fans. His final live album, Gunfight, at Carnegie Hall, captures in its title some of the atmosphere of how he was being received in concert there. "Bring back Phil Ochs," some of the audience would shout at him. Nearing the end, in the depths of his illness, he would tell confused interlocutors that his actual name was John Butler Train, and that he was the man who had killed Phil Ochs. And he wasn't wrong. Phil Ochs died 49 years ago, last night, a suicide, hanging himself until dead in his sister's place in Far Rockaway. He was just 35. Still, though, when we're lucky, we can meet him in our dreams. Though fashions changed and critics sneered, the songs that I have sung are just as true tonight as then. The struggle carries on. The struggle carries on.